This is Breakin' the Law by Judas Priest, and we're going to start with the first riff, the one that goes like this. And we're going to learn the whole song note for note, chord for chord. And what I'm going to do first is, when we start with this riff, is to play along with the music once so you can get a good idea of what it sounds like, and then we're going to hit it note for note, one section at a time. Let's hit it note for note now. We're going to start on the open 5th string. Next note is 1st finger 2nd fret on the 5th string. Then we're going to have 2nd fret on the 2nd finger on the 3rd fret on the 5th string. So it's going to look like this. And we're going to do that 3 times rhythmically. It should sound just like that. And the second phrase to the song goes like this. What we're going to do here is start with our 1st finger on the 1st fret on the 6th string. Then the 2nd finger is going to stretch to 3rd fret, also on the same string. And then pinky stretches to 5th fret on the 6th string. And we're going to do that twice, rhythmically. And then back to 1st fret. 2nd finger comes over 1 string to 5th string, 3rd fret. Then 1st finger is going to be on 2nd fret, 5th string. One more time. And then it all ends on an A chord, which is your 1st finger over the 2nd fret on the 4th string, and also the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, played along with the open 5th string. So the whole riff. The verse of the song is made up of almost completely all power chords. Power chords are movable chords where you maintain the same finger shape and you just move it around, either on adjacent strings like this or up and down the neck horizontally like this. So first we're going to go over how to play a power chord, and then we're going to go over the verse and how the different power chord movements construct the verse progression. Basically, to achieve this, we're going to use our 1st finger, in this case on the 3rd fret, since it's the 1st chord of the song, on the 5th string. Then we're going to bring our 3rd finger over here to the 5th fret on the 4th string, and then we're going to put our pinky on the 5th fret on the 3rd string. And we're going to play just those 3 strings. Should sound something like that. So that's going to be our power chord shape. The shape can be moved, like I said, horizontally or to the adjacent strings like that. And there we go. There's our power chord. So let's take a minute here and I'll show you how to move it around a little bit more slowly so that when you do get to try to learn the verse, you'll understand this a little more fully. We'll start on the 3rd fret, and watch what my fingers are going to do here. As I move up, my fingers remain in the same proximity as to one another as I move. This can be a little bit tricky. Sometimes I see people do something like this when they're beginners and their fingers tend to squish together. So you want to make sure that your fingers maintain a nice stable base. And when you move to that position, It's moved slowly and the fingers remain in the same proximity to one another. The same is true when you move it over a set of strings. As you see, when I move it over a set of strings, fingers remain the same. In fact, you can almost think of your third finger and your pinky as being one unit, as being one finger, and move those two together like this when you move these chords. And there's just a couple hints on how to construct power chords and also how to move them around effectively. So let's move on to the verse. Verse progression to this song, and we're going to go over it nice and slow, chord for chord. First of all, we're going to start it with the A chord, the same chord we saw in the intro. Then we'll go to 3rd fret on the 5th string, power chord. Incidentally, this one is called C. Then we're going to move to the 6th string root, same fret. This one's called G. And back to A. Now you don't necessarily have to know the names of these to play them. There's a little bit of theory and memorization behind it, but for today's lesson, just know that when you put your first finger here on the 3rd fret, it sounds really good. When you put it here, it sounds good. And when you mix it all in with the A chord, it sounds like the song Breakin' the Law. So that all happens twice. Once, twice. Then we're going to move up here to the 8th fret. Power chord again, 5th string root. Then to 8th fret, 6th string root. Again, back. And now we're going to end it on the 7th fret, 5th string root power chord. So the second half of this again is going to go. So the entire verse. Now the verse also contains what is known as a mute in between some of the strings. You probably heard it when it went like this. And the way to achieve a mute is just like this. Instead of fingering a fret by pressing down, you take your fingers and put them across the strings. Don't press. And the strings are muted. And that way when you strum the pick across the strings, you just get that kind of a sound. So here we have kind of a chord, mute. So in the case of this song, we're going to have an A chord, mute, C, which is 3rd fret, mute, G, mute, again, and we're going to do our verse pattern with the mutes in there, just for these chords. When we get up here to the 8th fret, we're going to sustain the chords. So no mutes there, just mutes in the beginning of the verse. And there's the chords to the verse. We went through them nice and slowly. As you practice it, be sure to start slowly and speed them up gradually until you can play it right along with the song. Okay, here's the chorus to the song. This one is pretty easy. It's almost one note, just repeated over and over again. Here's what it sounds like without the music. Up to speed. Okay, so that's that. Basically what we're going to do is start on the A chord that we saw in the intro, and then repeat the open A note with a little bit of a mute to it, rhythmically. So we have A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's a total of 11 there. If you break it into one set of 4 and one set of 7, it's a lot easier to keep count, and it's also rhythmically what's going on. So we have A. Then we're going to move up to the 12th fret, play our power chord shape, and slide down. The first time through we do that slide once. The second time through we do it twice. And we do that whole cycle twice. So there we have it, the chorus to the song. I'll play it along once more with the music so you can see it now that you've had the explanation. Now the second verse to the song is a little bit different than the first verse. It starts the same. But the second time through we're going to do our C to 5th fret, which is D, on the 5th string root, all the way up to 7th fret, which is E, 5th string root. So we have for the second half of that verse. The whole thing, we put it together with the mutes, would look like this. A, C 3rd fret, G 3rd fret, A. Second time through we have A, C, D 5th, E. And then from there it's the same. 8th fret, 8th fret 6th root, 8th fret 5th root, down to 7th. And then we're back to the chorus. Here we have it, the second verse.